Welcome to the Chelsea Skidmore Show. Today, I am just reading a story. It's a very quick episode. It's a story that I wrote 4 years ago, and I write a lot of experience stories, and I just thought I would share some of them in between guests when I felt like recording an episode but didn't know what to do it about, and so it's kind of like a little audiobook story. So, hope you guys enjoy it. This is a true story that happened to me. I wrote this September 5th, 2015, and the title is I Was Kidnapped by an Uber Driver for 4 hours. True story, and it begins like this. Sorry, just clearing my throat. I was exhausted when I ordered my first Uber at 1:40 a.m. while finishing up a 6-hour shift at work. It was my first night out of the house after being sick with the flu, and I had been holed up, lonely as fuck in my apartment for the past week, surrounded by glasses of ginger ale and baked potatoes on some randomly specific Jewish sick stomach solution someone suggested I try. Ready for bed after a long night, I popped a non-addictive anti-anxiety pill that makes you drowsy and waited 3 minutes for my Uber driver, Clayton. An old silver Cadillac DeVille pulled up, and I got in with slight hesitation because he looked like a pimp. And I'm not being racist. He just had pimp energy. He immediately began questioning me about my life, and I enjoyed that because I'm self-obsessed. On some psychic shit, he sensed that I've been depressed, which had me practically on the verge of tears during our rapidly growing emotional and intimate conversation. I felt safe opening up to him, and he genuinely wanted to hear everything I had to say. It was an objective opinion outside of anyone who knew me, and I appreciated his intellectual insights. I can't tell if he was building me up so I would stay in the car or if he really meant his words, but by the time we got up to my house, it was apparent the conversation was not ready to be over. A new ride popped up on his phone. Oh, now I have to get Robert, he sighed. Fuck Robert, I responded, making him laugh. You want to take a ride and continue talking, he offered. It was late. I was exhausted, but something inside of me wanted to stay. I craved this East Coast style, give it to you straight life advice and wanted to take an adventure. I had been cooped up sick inside my apartment alone all week, Googling reasons not to die, followed by how to be a stronger woman, followed by best eye cream 2015. I needed something to spark excitement and fear inside of me. I got into the front seat and we drove to pick up Robert. We continued talking about my issues, even though I already did that with my therapist earlier that day. He quoted the Bible in ways I've only heard in Quentin Tarantino movies. He told me how he once picked up a girl from the Playboy Mansion to bring to a famous short actor's house in Beverly Hills, who's the face of Scientology for some risky business. By day, he was an interior designer from Baltimore who's been in business for 28 years and has only been in love once. He looked at me in the eyes at stoplights as shadows hit his face and told me my past does not define me. He told me that I was a highly intelligent person who is allergic to stupid shit, which in turn leaves me depressed when I try to comprehend why stupid shit happens. He told me to stop being hard on myself and that I'm not the person I negatively tell myself I am. I was eating it up and just wanted to hear more words of wisdom, and he continued to do so between passenger pickups. I had fun messing around with the passengers. When we pulled up and they saw me in the front seat, I told them we were filming a hidden camera show. No one believed me. We picked up mainly gay guys in West Hollywood who had been out partying. One engaged couple that was significantly different in age by 20 years was completely trashed and going to Mexico in the morning. Another guy was high on coke and said he left the party because his asshole wasn't clean enough to hook up. Another group we picked up at IHOP were mean drunks and thought they were actors, but we knew they weren't. They were just hipster Filipinos in an acting class. We drove around West Hollywood to Koreatown to West Hollywood to downtown LA. At one point, Clayton and I both agreed we had to pee. So he pulled over on the side of the road under a dark bridge and handed me some baby wipes. "Let's pee outside," he suggested, excitedly getting out and standing behind the car. He let out a loud sigh of relief as he peed, which most older men do. And then I noticed he opened up the trunk for a crowbar to murder me with, I presumed, and stayed in the car. "I'm okay," I said, preserving my life. "Up until this point, you wouldn't think I was kidnapped and willfully went into the Uber, which is true. However, the night took a turn of events when he wouldn't let me leave. I told him I wanted to go home, but he told me to stay. He stopped at a hotel for me to pee at to ease my comfort level and made me feel taken care of. I thought about running out of the back entrance of the hotel, but it was so late. I just wanted a ride home from the driver who promised it. At this point, it was 4 a.m., and I was over it all. I was out of energy. The compliments and life advice died down, and I was ready for bed. The conversations had peaked, and I had nothing left in me. We were very close to my apartment, and I asked him to take me home. A little bummed, he agreed and said he was done driving. But then, not a moment later, he sneakily accepted another passenger's request. "What the fuck? I want to go home," I said. I was pissed. "I don't want you to leave," he cried, driving to pick up the next passenger. Editor's note, kidnapped. "I'm just going to get out and call another Uber. I'm over it," I replied, feeling guilty for hurting his feelings, but putting my foot down. Just a few days earlier, I was on my couch reading a self-help book about paying attention to your needs before worrying about others, and I felt adamant in applying what I had learned. Okay, I barely got past the introduction, but I knew the whole book was basically saying by reading the title. What the whole book was basically saying by reading the title. He picked up the pace. "No!" he cried out laughing. "I just enjoy your company too much. This is the last passenger, I promise." I didn't believe him. I felt uneasy and anxious. Each time we drove a further distance, I felt closer to trouble, wondering what the fuck I was doing. We picked up some dumb bitch that came out of her house with a suitcase that set me into some serious apprehension. Suitcases only mean one thing. Where are you going?" I immediately asked her from the passenger seat when I got in. "Is this an Uber pool?" the dumb bitch asked. Yes, I lied. Clayton asked me to say it was Uber pool and to not tell this particular passenger I was on a ride along, aka kidnapped to the airport against my will. "I'm going to the airport," the dumb bitch replied. "I have a flight that leaves in an hour. We have to go. Now." "I'm not going. Take me home," I told Clayton. My tone said, "I'm not fucking around," but neither was Clayton because he kept driving. "I got to take her to the airport. Please come with me," he cried out. I didn't fucking want to. And he picked up on that. "I'll pay you." "How much do you want?" he asked. "Give me $20. Now I'm a paid kidnappee." He agreed to the payment. He went back to complimenting and building me up, telling the dumb bitch in the back that I was an amazing person to fill me up with reason to wanting to stay. The whole thing felt very Stockholm Syndrome with a dash of codependency. Toward the end of the ride, I really just thought about opening up the door and jumping out. I grew afraid that I was never going to be able to leave. He was driving at 105 miles per hour, and I didn't think I could jump out safely, although I watched the road wondering what it would be like to hit the pavement at that speed. On the ride to the airport, I began reaching out to my friends to tell them what was going on. They were worried. One offered to pick me up at the airport if I jumped out, but I stayed on the ride. As promised, Clayton took me home after the airport, making my arrival time 5 a.m. He never paid me $20. We exchanged numbers, but I will never call him again. I woke up the next morning off 6 hours of sleep and felt like shit. I felt like I ate McDonald's or had spent the night doing cocaine. Both are similarly awful feelings. But despite how tired I felt and wanted to fall back asleep, I was able to wake up and have a productive day because somehow Clayton got into my head and I felt that much more better and hopeful about my life. Side note, I'd been joking about wanting to be kidnapped for years, and my friend said I manifested it. I may be kind of exaggerating when I say I was kidnapped, although he legit would not let me out until the end when he was ready. The Wikipedia definition of kidnapping is in criminal law, kidnapping is the unlawful taking away or transportation of a person against that person's will, usually to hold the person unlawfully. I mean, whew. So that was the end. I like that story, and I wanted to share it because, I don't know, I posted it on my blog like 4 years ago, and I thought about, wanting to read my stories on the podcast. It was very hard. I know I messed up a lot. It was my first time reading a story on a podcast, so sorry that I had a couple of mess ups, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Let me know what you think. Hit me on Instagram at Chelsea Skidmore and tell me if you liked my story. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. I'm really excited to, record the next couple podcasts. I have some good guests coming up. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.